Today, we're going to be reviewing the Nick Fury hero that came in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm super hyped for this because I really enjoyed Nick Fury. I think it was a lot of fun. I think it was really interesting. So I guess I just spoiled my own review. But I've greatly enjoyed him. And he's definitely a breath of fresh air for certain things. So first thing we're going to do is go through all of his cards, talk a bit about them and situations I like them, yada, yada, and then talk about overall thoughts and feelings of playing the hero after well over a dozen times at this point. So before we jump over to the screen, do me a huge favor, make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe. If you want to support this channel, consider hitting the join button. Even 99 cents a month helps out this channel a ton. I greatly appreciate it. It supports everything we do here. So thank you all very much for the people that have done that. Let's go check out the Nick Fury hero. All right, this is going to be more of a casual review because I'm going to be drinking coffee and whatnot during this because I need to wake up. So first we're going to start with Nick Fury. For recovery, that's what I like to say. 6 hand size, 10 hit points, is a shield, soldier, and spy trait, which is just crazy. All the S's. Suit up, set up, put your suit form upgrade into play, assault side face up. We'll get into what that is in a little bit. And infiltrate action, you can change the to stealth suit form. Only to stealth suit. We'll get into why in a second. Nick Fury's stat line's a 2-2-2 stat line. Keeps all of his traits, the shield, soldier, spy. Drops down to a 5 hand size. Gather intel response after Nick Fury makes a basic thwart. Place 1 threat on your suit form upgrade. And when you attack, you change to assault form. So this is the balance that we're going to be talking about with this suit form upgrade, is balancing between the assault form and the stealth form. So assault item tech, it's a permanent card, so you can't get rid of it. When you attack, remove up to 3 threats from here, and you're going to be gathering on there from this and other things. This attack deals 1 additional damage for each threat removed that way, so you have the possibility of going up to 3 more damage for the attack. Pretty solid. Now, stealth form, still item tech. Permanent when force response or force interrupt. Sorry, the other one was just an interrupt, the assault form. This is a force interrupt on the hero side. When an enemy would attack you, it schemes instead. Place 1 threat from the activation here instead of on the main scheme if there is 5 or less threat on this card. So basically, this is to slow you down from not stacking your card too much, and this is a part of the interesting balancing act that will go on with Nick Fury. And this is what I kind of liked, because you can go higher than 5. It's certainly possible with the cards that he has, but not this way, right? Not through doing it through when the villain would attack, they scheme. I mean, they would still scheme, but you don't place that 1 threat. So it's this delicate balancing act where you can't just stack this card like nonstop. Again, you can get more than 5 on it, but it gets a little trickier. Yeah, more than 5. But it's one of those things where it's just it's just a balancing act. And this is what I really like about Nick Fury, is that he is a hard balancing act at times, because I just want to keep gaining all these stealth tokens because then I want to flip to assault and then absolutely crush it in a second. So you have to balance this out well. I really like this mechanic. I think this is really cool. This is really fun. Very much enjoyed. All right, so 3 cost ally Maria Hill is signature ally, 2/1/3 stat line. When Maria Hill thwarts, place the remove threat on your suit form upgrade. So this is a way to get 2 each time. One of the stronger ways to play Nick Fury is doing the sidekick build with Maria Hill. Just have her keep thwarting over and over and over. It keeps everything in check, and then you can build up to have a massive assault attack, like constantly, right? And even so, the other thing that's interesting is that even if you are assault, right, and you're slowly losing your tokens, she can keep dumping them on you. So that this way you can keep using them to attack more. It's an incredibly strong way to play Nick Fury. It's not the only way to play Nick Fury, which I really enjoy, because again, you can play an aggression build with him and really boost those attacks. You can play justice to slow down the whole thwarting procedure that's going to happen from stealth. Protection was all right. I wasn't as big of a fan as protection, but the main 3 aspects, the 3 other aspects, there was definitely a lot to do there. So that was a really fun way to play him. Again, just take Maria Hill and keep feeding into the assault build, essentially. Then we get into his first event. It's a concentrated fire, 2 cost event. It's an attack event. Hero action, deal 4 damage to an enemy. So 2 for 4, not great, but it does get ranged. You're not going to get retaliated, which is really nice. If it defeats an enemy, choose one of the following. Place threat on your suit form upgrade equal to the enemy's printed scheme. So if you're losing out on threat, it's a way to get some back. Or you can switch from your attack to now stealth form, right? Stealth form is going to be the trickiest thing to get back to. Generally speaking, you have to do an alter ego, right? when you flip down, change to stealth suit form. This is really like the main way to do it. But cards like this, when you defeat an enemy, let you do it as well, which is super helpful. Now with this, you can make this a 2 for 7 attack card by getting the threat off the assault card, which is strong. And then again, you can choose to either switch back to stealth or take some of that threat from that scheme of the enemy defeated, put it on you, right? So we got 2 of those cards. Then we have Covert Surveillance, 1 cost event. It's a thwart, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Absolutely terrible ratio, but that's okay because if you're in stealth suit form, you may place that threat on your suit form upgrade. So again, a way to really stack the numbers here for you when you're ready to flip to assault, or you can just switch to your stealth suit form, which is nice. Again, I like that they're giving us options of what to do. This is my favorite part of like Marvel Champions, when you have to make interesting decisions during the game. This is that, right? Do we flip over, do the attack with the assault form, and then quickly covert surveillance to come back up in stealth form, right? Like that kind of balancing act that you're trying to do. I really enjoy this. 3 of those cards. Spray Fire is one big attack card, 3 cost event. Choose a player, deal 3 damage to the villain, and each minion engage that player. It gains ranged as well, so you're not going to get retaliate. Now, the reason this is huge is because if you take the 3 off of the assault suit form upgrade, you're now dealing 6 against the villain. 3 for 6 isn't great, but if you're dealing with a lot of minions, it's now 3 for 6 with all the minions. Like, it's a really easy way to clear out the board. And it doesn't have to just be you. For the people that play multiplayer, right, you're able to now help out your teammates, because if they're dealing with a lot of minions because they were doing whatever else for the team, you can now basically clear out the board. Really strong card, really interesting card. Didn't play it as much, obviously, because the concentrated fire is like the quote unquote better attacking card, just from a number standpoint. But still, very good card. Especially even if you just had a minion out there, and like, taking out a 6 health minion is usually pretty beefy, so he can pretty easily do that with Spray Fire. All right, then we get into his supports. Starting off with a 2 cost support of Fury's Flying Car, Aerial Tech Vehicle. Exhaust this card to remove 1 threat from your suit form upgrade to ready Nick Fury. And then he gains Aerial. I didn't really lean into the Aerial stuff with him too much. I guess you could. It wasn't really something I was super interested in. But being able to ready up Nick Fury, especially if you have ways to constantly, especially if you want to thin your suit upgrade, which we'll get back to in a second. Especially if you want to reduce the stealth suit, right? Because you can't place more than you can't when the villain schemes. You can't place that token or the threat tokens onto your board or onto your stealth suit if you're above 5, right? So if you're at 6, you can't put any more on. So if you're at 6 and you want to be able to like ready up your hero and do more and whatnot, and you have ways to like switch back to covert form or stealth form, whatever it is, this is a good card to like ready up and do different things, right? Or if you just have to deal with a lot of main side schemes, right? Player side schemes. I'm not a big player side scheme person, but it is pretty easy to clear it with Nick Fury because, again, get the car out there. You're thwarting for 2. You can ready up thwart for another 2, right? And that can be pretty strong. All right, Safe House, 1 cost support. Location Shield, Safe House number 221. It's an alter ego action. Exhaust Safe House 221 and choose to either heal 2 or place 1 threat on your suit form upgrade. It's a good way to get you going. I use this mostly for heals because just 2 heals is really nice to flip down and basically do it twice, right? You flip down, use Safe House, heal 2. Your next turn, Safe House for no 2, so you're up 4, which is 40% of your health. Go back up, and now you can like remove threat or attack or whatever. I guess you could do the 1 threat onto your suit form if you really needed to, but rarely it ever worked out for me that way. What's something I need to do? Then we have EM Shields, 2 cost upgrades, a prep tech card. Interrupt defense. When you would take any amount of damage from an attack, discard this instead to prevent all this damage. They're doing this a lot more with discarding cards. Yeah, I mean, I had it on the table now and again for like a Ronin, whatever, and like, waiting to get hit by 17 or whatever crazy amount of damage. It was fine. It wasn't a card I played all the time or even that often, but did it come in clutch at certain times? Yeah, it did, but it was like 10% of the games, maybe 20%. So it wasn't super often, but it's not like a useless card. It just was very situational in the way that it worked. So totally fine. I just didn't lean into EM Shield that much. 2 cost upgrade with Eye Patch Camera, prep tech still. Hero interrupt. When any amount of threat would be placed in the main scheme, discard Eye Patch Camera, place up to 3 of that threat on your suit form upgrade instead. So this is like counterintelligence. As far as the Justice card goes, where you can prevent 3, but now you also put it in your suit. This was nice because what I would do is I would set this up when I was ready to make a big push, right? I just leave it on the table, and then I would be in stealth form so that the villain would scheme a ton usually, and then when they scheme, you put whatever on. But then you do this as well to place the 3 threat, or I'm sorry, when they would scheme, you discard this to place up to 3 of that threat on your suit form instead. Um, so that was a good way to build up those counters, right? Hopefully, it was already kind of high at 5 or 6 anyway. Build up those counters to 8. So now if I'm playing 2 different attack cards, I'm hitting for +6 essentially. It's massive amounts, right? Absolute massive amounts. And then we have 1 cost upgraded with Fury's Watch. Exhaust Fury's Watch, remove up to 2 threat from your suits to generate a mental resource for each threat removed this way. Yeah, unless I was really flushed with threat, or like I had nothing else really going on, I didn't use this a ton. It's not that it's bad. It's just I'd rather ready up, and I'd rather like work on the eye patch camera and stuff. And I don't know. He never felt so expensive that I needed this. Like, it was nice at times. Don't get me wrong. It was fine when it worked out. But his cards aren't super expensive, generally speaking. That never felt like I really needed to, like, especially generate 2 resources. I felt like I never really had to do that. 1 now and again, sure, but not 2. But I mean, the cost is really good. You throw it out there. If it gets caught off guard, it's not that big of a deal, right? You'll figure it out. I never ran super expensive allies with him or upgrades or supports that I couldn't really afford. So maybe if I leaned more into like expensive shield cards, it makes sense. Like, I did a few shield builds with him, but not a ton. So maybe in the future with more stuff like that. I didn't really mess with the ships being on him either, which maybe is a route you could go, and that like changes things. I don't really know. But I mean, happy the option exists. It's just not something I leaned into that often. I never felt like I was that desperate for a resource generator that often. I'd rather use the threat for other things. All right, zero cost upgrade, intelligence analysis, prep skill. When you reveal, it's an interrupt. When you reveal a treachery card, discard intelligent analysis and remove 1 threat from your suit from upgrade and cancel the effects of that treachery card and discard it. The really nice thing for this is that this is an interrupt, not a hero interrupt. Black Widow has something like this, but it's a hero interrupt, which is really annoying because you want Black Widow flipping down constantly. Nick Fury, you kind of want flipping down a good amount. You're not trapped because there are times that you get like a treachery card and it's like, oh, I just lost the game because it's an advance or whatever, right? Something ridiculous. This allows you to cancel it, which is super nice. Super, super nice, especially for the cost of just 1 threat removal. Like, it's worth its weight of gold. Or if you get Shadow of the Past, if you're me, right? It's such a good card. So I always kept it out there. It was super great. Try to play it every single time. I would try to like get it back on the table every single time, like because I would use it and get, uh, it would you would discard it, so then I would have to like get it back. All right, and then last one is 2 cost upgrade with secret agent title. Hero response: after resolve the ability of a prep card you control, remove 1 threat from a scheme to your suit form upgrade. This was kind of iffy for me. Not that I was against it. I felt like he had a fair amount of prep cards, right? 3, I think. Yeah, so he had 3 that you're trying to cycle through. I was using 2 mostly. I did a few prep decks with him, and they weren't bad, but they weren't like something I really enjoyed. Like, he was just stronger in Shield. I think Shield is just stronger than prep decks in general. So it just felt like it made more sense to do Shield. And then once you started doing the whole Maria Hill sidekick build, like it made like a lot of sense. Or if I was leaning into like aggression, there's not a ton of great aggression prep cards. Not that they don't exist, but it just wasn't a ton of good ones. So it was just like, why, right? It's just like this felt like a weird, not a weird card, but just like an added on card that wasn't really helping me that much. So I guess if I did more prep builds, it'd be better, but it never really worked out that way. So yeah, it's fine. Like, it's a fine card. Like, I'm not against the card. I just didn't really lean into it that much. As I said, I spent a lot of time either as a sidekick build, or just a straight aggression build. I did some prep builds, I did some justice builds. They all worked great with Nick Fury. And this is what makes him so fun, in my opinion, is that you can do so many different things with him, that he wasn't pigeonholed into just like one thing. And that's what I appreciate the most about him, is that I can mess around with him different ways, and it worked pretty well. Some of his cards that he came with in his deck, I'm not really gonna get into them. They were fine. There wasn't anything like amazing, but it was fine cards I've used for like Black Widow and stuff like that, and for different prep things. And then Gemma Simmons and Leo Fritz are interesting too. Nick Fury Sr. is not bad. But anyway, it's one of those things where when we talk about the Maria Hill review, I really didn't like Maria Hill because it felt like there was just one obvious path, and to not do that path, there really seemed no reason to do that, right? Just lean into her one obvious path. I felt like I was never worried about counters because it was so easy for her to move them around or generate them. Like it wasn't an issue. What's interesting with this, with the stealth and assault form, is that getting threat tokens on there wasn't actually a hard thing to do whatsoever. It was figuring out when to time the flip from stealth to assault. Right, that was the interesting decision making. Then, okay, if I start using assault, am I going to try to build it up or am I going to try to flip back over to stealth? How do I want to approach this? This was the interesting decision making that I was making with Nick Fury all the time. And this is what I appreciate about this game. I want to make interesting choices. I want to feel like, depending on what the villain does and what happens here and what happens here, like I'm gonna have to change my strategy. I don't want to sit there and go, okay, for the next 6 turns, I'm gonna do XYZ thing because it doesn't matter what the villain does, except for like minor things that might happen. So I really appreciate Nick Fury. He's definitely not as strong as Maria Hill, but he's pretty strong. Aggression, he's really strong, especially when you get some of those attack events. You start doing like 1 by 1 and things like that. You can get pretty nuts pretty fast. He handles minions really well, which is really cool to see. I feel like my big worry was how well he'd be able to handle a threat in the main scheme because you want to flip down, you're dealing with stealth, so the villain's constantly thwarting. Again, if you lean into Justice build, it's completely fine. Maria Hill psychic build was just really strong. Like it was just really, really strong, especially put inspired on her, so she's thwarting 3. It's nuts. I'm pretty sure it inspires what I'm thinking of. But yeah, it's just absolutely nuts what you can do with Nick Fury. So yeah, I really liked it. Yeah, it is inspired. I had to make sure. But yeah, it was just really, really fun, really enjoyable. I played him well over a dozen times. And I just wanted to keep playing him. Like he was one of those heroes. Like I took a week off, and then I was like, okay, let's get back into like playing him. And I like the builds, I like the possibilities, and some people are coming up with some interesting stuff in Marvel CDB. So I'm excited to experiment with that more as well. So anyway, that's it. I really like Nick Fury. He's a really good hero. He's really fun, really enjoyable. Highly recommend. So let me know your thoughts down below in the description. Is there anything really kind of out of the box that you're doing with Nick Fury? That's what I'm really interested in, is like if there's something interesting that you're doing, or completely off the wall or whatever. Because I feel like there's some things I haven't even messed with like the spy trait. I need to mess around with more. Maybe Ariel, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to rely into that too much. So anyway, if you made this far in the video, do me a huge favor, make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. It really helps out the channel. I really appreciate it. If you want to become a member or join Patreon for free, please do so. I really, again, anything you do for this channel, I really appreciate it. Or if you use your free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, you have a free sub to give away. Consider doing it to one of the board game channels on Twitch. It doesn't have to be me. It could be Nelson or whomever else, but it really helps those channels out. It really supports them, and it doesn't cost you anything extra because you've already paid for it. So if you have Amazon Prime, make sure to attach your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and then you can give away that Prime sub each and every month, either to the same or different content creator. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.